Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, final trading hour of the day, and we kick things off on NVIDIA earnings day, biggest market capitalization in the world, and you're talking about 3% of the market capitalization of the entire globe. So if there were 33 equal-sized companies that encompassed everything the globe did, NVIDIA would be one of those 33. And market capitalization-wise, pretty remarkable when you put it in that context. Just as big when you're talking about in the U.S. You jump over right now in NVIDIA. A little volatility to the downside, to the upside today. Right now, we're basically flat, slightly in the red at 181.60. And as I was talking about this morning, you're looking about a $12 move in either direction. We'll get into NVIDIA shortly in terms of the expected move tonight. So NVIDIA trading at $181 and the market looking for an expected move of about $6 in either direction. S&P is up by 14 points right now. We take a look at the price and volume. Not exactly what you'd want to see, okay, to put it lightly. You trade lower a week ago. That was Wednesday. You did bounce from that low. NVIDIA had a great bounce on that Wednesday. I've talked about it on a couple occasions. And you get the acceleration on less volume on Friday than what you had on the move lower to lows. And then since then, you actually trade a bit higher, and it's going to be light on volume. As we come over those highs, you do have a high of 65.08. We're trading at 64.97, but we got a low volume day coming in. We're only done 652,000 contracts. This is on the S&Ps. You did over 1 million yesterday. You did over 1.4 on the way up, and you did 1.5 on the way down. NASDAQ 100, even more pronounced. All right, you make that acceleration a week ago on volume. You trade lows of 23,035, and since then, it's been lighter volume. You did get a little bit of a pop yesterday, but again, just kind of trailing off a bit. Dow, different story. You got quite the acceleration on Friday. You did it with volume. And you check out the Russell, same thing. Did it with volume. Right? So Dow, Russell, quite the acceleration. NASDAQ in particular, though, a little worrisome. You know, you think about the day you had in terms of the acceleration on Friday at a higher price, Jackson Hole, and you couldn't even match the volume they had in the last couple days. Right? And the NASDAQ 100, that was the lowest volume day of the prior 4. And since then, it's been light volume as we've held those highs. So you jump to NVIDIA, though, and it is a different story on NVIDIA because you reject that low, you do it with volume, and we've had some nice volume on these bars on the way up on NVIDIA. You're coming into highs out here. Okay, you back it up to NVIDIA July 31st. You had a high out here of 183.30, and you ripped lower on July 31st. And you did it with 221 million shares. You do have that rejection on huge volume on the lows. But I found myself wondering today if this is going to rest somewhere between the 185 to 170 range. So you got a lot of volume off there on the highs. You got a lot of volume here that rejected that low. And you back this up intraday. Yeah, that was last Wednesday I was talking about. You had NVIDIA trade down $8 and up $8 intraday. That's almost $200 billion down and $200 billion up market cap. Quite the acceleration. So we'll see where they come in today. We jump over to Kohl's. So talking about Kohl's this morning, and how about it? Holding on to those gains, up by 22.4%. And yeah, they blow it away, man. You get into these numbers on Kohl's, they expect the earnings in the range of 50 to 80 cents a share. They previously just gave themselves a profit. They were saying 10 to 60 cents. Okay? They expect net sales to decline but 5 to 6%. Okay, but the earnings front. Previously, they anticipated sales would fall 5 to 7%. Earnings 56 cents a share versus 29. Second quarter income, $153 million compared to $66 million a year ago, even as sales are dipping a bit. But yeah, the market's saying, you know what? Maybe you're going to make more money than we thought. Maybe you're not going BK here. And that's your weekly. You put things on the daily, though. Now, you can't we live in interesting times. We live in different times, okay? And I love price and volume, but benchmarking it sometimes versus the mean volatility gets very difficult, right? This is an extraordinary day to the upside built off fundamentals. We're going into a day built on meme mania where it traded 200 million shares up to $21. Now, what it did, though, on Kohl's, I was looking at this earlier. I was talking about $20, man. And that's pretty close to the highs in the meme mania, and that's probably the next stop. You got lows out here of about lows on Kohl's of $19 to $20. You reached a low of $17.89 in May of 23. You reached a low of $17.68, and then you chopped around in that area for the better part of July all the way through to like October of 2024. But yeah, those are some real numbers on Kohl's. You jump around to some of the other retailers, TJX. One of the best channels out there, up by 0.5% today. This market rolling over a bit since I've been talking, huh? What just happened? There's some selling for you. All right. Let's see what's driving that one. We just got some selling, that's for sure. All right, we jump to what else is going on. So, NVIDIA. China, going to be one of the things that they're going to deal with here, okay? And you're talking about China. It was off limits at first in terms of the H20. Now they can sell them. The U.S. government's going to get 15% of that number. Uncertain sales forecast. Changing China outlook spurs $15 billion gap in the revenue estimates, okay? The high end versus the low end. And look how far when you start to go out. They don't know whether they're going to have next year 48 billion or 63 billion. Imagine that. Now, think about the multiples that they're priced into this equity. Okay? The back and forth over NVIDIA's China sales causing headaches for Wall Street. The inclusion, okay? And this is one UBS gentleman. The inclusion of the China sales could lift NVIDIA's forecast by as much as 3 billion, even kicking back that 15%. We'll finish this conversation up. We'll take a look. But yeah, how about that range, right? Markets rolling over. NASDAQ in the red. We're almost 100 points off the highs. S&P's up by 7. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come right back.